We do have breaking news coming in from Maharashtra. So we're shipping from Uttar Pradesh to Maharashtra. The Supreme Court has refused to allow an urgent hearing of the Shiv Sena dispute. The CJI has refused this request. It was made by senior advocate Abhishek Manu Singhvi, who is appearing for the Uddhav Thackeray faction. Remember, they were requested that an unlisted mentioning of this entire issue. This is the petition in which they're challenging the EC order. Remember, the Election Commission gave an order that the bow and arrow symbol and the name would both go to the Eknath Shinde-led Shiv Sena faction. The Uddhav Thackeray faction wanted to challenge that. They'd gone in front of the Supreme Court, but the CJI has now refused the request. Let's go over to my colleague Ananya Bhatnagar for more. Ananya, does this mean that the matter will be listed tomorrow as per procedure? What does this effectively mean?
Well, what had happened today was that the matter was being sought to be mentioned urgently for an urgent hearing tomorrow. However, what has happened is that first, the Uddhav Thackeray lawyers could not actually secure a mentioning number, because whenever mentioning has to be made, there is a mentioning performer that is submitted before the court assemblies until 10:25, and then mentioning numbers are given. However, since it could not, the Uddhav Thackeray faction could not secure, in fact, a mentioning number, the senior advocate, Mr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi, actually made an unlisted mentioning, which is generally called in the legal parlance. But the CJI actually refused and said that no unlisted mentionings would be heard, and the matter should be mentioned again tomorrow after getting a proper mentioning sequence, and then only the matter can be actually be urgently mentioned, and then the Supreme Court will be thinking as to whether or not to list this particular matter tomorrow or not. Now, what has happened is that what was being sought basically by Mr. Singhvi was that the matter be heard urgently tomorrow. So now, since the petition has been filed, what we are hearing is that a diary number has to be generated to this particular petition, and this urgent mentioning has been refused. So definitely tomorrow a hearing would not be taking place, but we might see that the listing of this matter takes place, and we might see that in a day or two the matter is heard. We might see that tomorrow again Mr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi or other senior counsels actually mention this particular matter before the Chief Justice of India after securing a proper mentioning date before the Supreme Court. So we'll have to wait until tomorrow as to whether or not some kind of a mentioning is made. In fact, urgent mentioning can also be made during the afternoon. So we'll have to wait if things change, if circumstances change. But at this point of time, no relief for the Uddhav Thackeray camp, no kind of a request of the Uddhav Thackeray camp for an unlisted mentioning of this particular matter, seeking an urgent hearing has been accepted by the Chief Justice of India, clearly saying to Mr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi that left, right, center, or anybody.
I need you to stay with us. Our next breaking is also related to the Shiv Sena. Okay, big developments taking place right now in Maharashtra as the Chief Minister has reached the Shiv Sena office of the Legislature Party Assembly building. I know that MLAs had earlier arrived there. They wanted to stake claim to the Shiv Sena office there. Leaders like Bharat Kokavle, Sada Sarvakan and Eknath Shinde are all present over there. Let's go over to my colleague Mihir for more details. Mihir, this faction staking claim to the Shiv Sena office. Bring us more details.
Absolutely. There is a Shiv Sena office dedicated for the Shiv Senics at the Vidhan Bhavan. Now, what we saw today is that MLAs and leaders of the Shiv Sena, especially the Shinde faction, arrived there and they took claim, in fact took over the entire place, is what we are getting. In fact, we have visuals of that where we are seeing leaders of the Shinde faction entering the particular office and taking charge of that particular office. Now, that is not limited to the office. Remember, as far as Shiv Sena is concerned, it's a party which is come out from the grassroots, and the main structure of Shiv Sena is based on the shakhas which are spread across the maximum city, considering Mumbai is the stronghold. Now, there were certain reports which did suggest that the next move of the Shinde faction will be that of taking claim and taking control of the shakhas. While we have seen that there was a statement made by the CM saying that there will be no claim or control over the Shiv Sena Bhavan, but yes, shakhas is something that the Shinde faction would really want under their control. However, these shakhas, some of them are registered with the Shakha Pramukh, the leader of the Shakha. If they have kept their loyalties with with the Uddhav Thackeray faction, then it will be quite a tussle to get that kind of control over it, and that's why we are saying that there could be some amount of tension within the Shiv Sena, within the two Shiv Senas at this point, one can say, and that is something which will be watched closely at this point. But one can see that the Shinde faction has already started making the moves by taking claim and taking control of the Vidhan Bhavan office.